Hey there, you guys. Welcome back. Today we are going to look at a Hoya. I think this is Hoya carnosa. I think that's how it's said. This is a variegated form. Absolutely fantastic. Easy plant to grow. This one is one that I would recommend for any beginner that has medium to high light. It'll even grow in low light too. Somebody who neglects plants like crazy, these plants seem to be almost indestructible. The thing that will kill these guys is overwatering, especially if it's in a low light situation. So, yeah, in the wintertime, if you keep watering it and the light levels are low and it's not really growing, it's not really taking up water, it will rot. That is the biggest form of killing these guys that I know, is overwatering. And yeah, this plant, I don't even know how long I've had this plant. It's just been in the background in my life for a very long time. I bought it in one of those small little 4-inch pots. I think there was maybe 2, maybe 4 leaves on it, and it's grown into this monster of a plant. I say monster, it's really not that big, but when you literally forget about it, and it's in a room that you barely ever go into, and every time you look at it, you're like, oh, I should water that because it's bone dry. And by bone dry, I mean like the soil is like dust, and then you forget about it even more, and you didn't water it, and then you go another probably 2 weeks, and you come in and you're like, oh crap, I should have watered it. And then, anyway, it's had dead leaves here and there. It really thrives on neglect. The only thing that I haven't got is flowers yet, but I think that flowers come with time. Your plant has to mature in order to produce blooms. This was grown as a cutting in a store, so it should be a mature plant. Maybe it just needs more light, maybe it needs a little bit more love, but to get it to grow, just in general, this is kind of an indestructible plant if you neglect. So what I wanted to do today with this one is I have this beautiful, or I say it's beautiful, I like it a lot. You've seen it in another video. These hanging pots. Really like it. There's no drainage holes in these silly things. But that's good, because I'm going to be hanging it in the house. I don't want to have a drainage hole in the bottom when I hang it in the house. Where's the water going to drain to? Onto my couch. And that's not cool. So this is going to pose a little bit of a problem, because without a drainage hole and you have a plant that does not like to be overwatered, you really need to take into consideration drainage and how you're going to get this thing to survive. So what we're going to do is we're going to take I don't even know what size pot this is. This is actually a leftover pot from one of the poinsettias. I think this is a 5-inch pot. It's either a 5 or a 6-inch pot. I chose this one because it fits right in the pot just like that. You can't even see it. It's just going to fit there nice and level, but then if I think that too much water is getting in there, I can pop the plant out, dump it out, pop it right back in. No problem. No problem at all. So that's what I chose, and also there is about 4 or 5 inches. I think the pot comes to about here, so there's all this space down here for overwatering. And if the plant really wants water, the roots will grow down through the bottom of the pot and into the water. That's okay, as long as it's not sitting in wet soil. For some reason, wet soil is different than just growing in water. As you probably know from growing things on your windowsill, like propagating, taking cuttings of things and putting them in a glass of water, they'll root for days, months, years, and not show any mal effect. But if you put it in a pot that's sopping wet, it starts to rot. Weird thing, I don't know. When they're in soil, they develop a different type of root system than when they're in water. Water roots and soil roots, I don't even know. And that's also why when you plant something that you propagated in water, it takes a few weeks to a few months to adjust into a soil environment, because it needs to develop the different type of root system to get all the nutrients that it needs. Anyway, without getting into crazy details, I am putting in this pot inside this. So what I have here, oh, and I also have some of these these little orchid clips, and along the chain I'm going to clip some of the vines so that it kind of grows up like a trellis, and I go way above. I'm sorry, I'm so tall, my arms are so long I can't stay in frame. I've got a soil mix here that I mixed just now. I have a all-purpose soil mixed with some perlite and some crushed clay brick. I just want it to be a very well-draining mix that also has some moisture retentive qualities. I don't want it to just blow right through the soil. I just don't want it to turn into a sopping wet mess. I want it to be well drained. So I'm gonna move the camera down so you can see what we're doing, and we'll get this plant unpotted, and then we'll pot it up into this one. I really should have washed this pot. It's not a very good thing to show you that I'm reusing pots and not washing them. Usually I do wash pots, but I put this off for so long, and I know that it thrives on neglect. There's nothing wrong with this. This was a poinsettia. There was nothing wrong with poinsettia. I'm gonna throw caution to the wind. That's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, come on down and we'll pot this thing up. You wouldn't believe it. Every time I move, I start sitting on this plant. This poor thing. About I don't know, a number of years ago, I bought this. You can't even see it. It was a stick with a curlicue of plastic cords. Oh, do I have scissors? I need scissors. Pardon me, I'll pause the video for a second while I grab some scissors. Got some scissors. Just gonna cut these little ropes. Yeah, it was a stick, and it had this stuff through it, and it was like a trellis. It was interesting when I got it. I thought, hey, that'll work. Not thinking that this plant would survive and do what it did. Whatever. So I'll move this soil off to the side. I'm going to try to uproot this. This plant has been in this pot for a very long time. It's probably rooted itself to the side of the clay. I'm just going to get right in there and pull it out. Do any of you guys grow any Hoyas? Hoyas are a fantastic variety of plant. There's so many varieties. Some of them are variegated, some of them are just green, some of them have crinkled leaves. Some of them, let me show you. This one's really cool. This one's Hoya carrii. It's got heart-shaped leaves. How much fun is that? Really, really cool. This one hasn't really done very much for me, but give it some time. Give it some time. Some of them are slower growing. Some of them have really big, beautiful flowers. Some of them have really small flowers. But the flowers remind me of milkweed flowers. They're that umbel, that ball of flowers, kind of like an allium. Really, really cool. And the flowers are waxy. They almost drip. Then, oh, it's so beautiful. They look fake, is what they look. Okay, so this plant hasn't been transplanted or maintained in, I'm gonna say, 5 years. Like, literally, I have not touched it, and poor thing. So I'm gonna give it some fresh soil. If I see the slow-release fertilizer in my vision, I will grab it. I don't see it, so it's not getting any slow release. Thought maybe it would like that. I'm just gonna put a couple of inches of soil in the bottom, because as you can see, it was just growing in maybe 2 inches of dirt. Or of soil. Sorry, dirt is what you bring in on the bottom of your shoes from outside. And this is soil. Wait, did I get that right? I don't know. Dirt. I don't know. There's a saying. Whatever. I'm too excited to get this potted. Just potting this up normally, trying to make sure that the plant itself is in the center of the pot. And I'm trying to leave about a centimeter of space between the top of the pot and the soil level. That way when I do water, I'm not going to overflow onto my furniture, because that is a big issue. The living room that this is going to be hanging in, I don't hang out in, and the furniture still seems to be brand new, just because I don't jump around on it. So the plant is potted up. I've pre-moistened the soil, so I don't need to water this in, but I could. I probably will after the video, after it's hanging up. But I'm just going to place the pot in the planter. Now I'm going to move all of these silly cords. It's going to look really, really nice. So what I'm going to do, like I said before, is I'm going to start winding these around. Ooh, it's got a rounded bottom. I'm going to sit here for a little while and sort the mess out here that is the leaves. They're all tangled up in one another because they've just been draped around, and then when they get too low I ended up putting the leaves back up in the pot, and it's just a tangled mess that I've weaved. And how about this? At the end of the video, or at the beginning of the video, I will have had a photo of what it looked like as an end product. Anyway, happy growing, everyone. This is how I repot this crazy, neglected Hoya plant. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, show me pictures of your Hoya, because I love them. I want to start a collection. I want to start a collection of everything, though, so I don't even know how that's going to work. Anyway, happy growing. I'm taking them out. I don't want them to rot. I could have done this a little bit sooner, but the leaves didn't die till just a few weeks ago.